In the heart of California's Silicon Valley, where glass buildings shimmer like mirrors of ambition and driverless cars hum along sun-soaked streets, lived a 17-year-old boy named Ethan Cola, name no one outside his school had ever heard. But within a few months, his name would echo across the United States, trend on every social platform, and be printed across the headlines of global magazines. Ethan would become the face of a revolution he never intended to start. Ethan was not the typical prodigy people imagine when they hear stories about the next tech genius. He wasn't a medal-winning mathlete, he didn't dominate coding competitions, and he certainly wasn't the smooth-talking conference speaker type. He was a quiet, observant teen, the kind who sat at the back of the classroom and scribbled ideas on the edges of his notebook. His teachers liked him, his classmates ignored him, and his life felt ordinary. Until the day everything changed. The spark, like many American teens inspired by the STEM boom sweeping across TikTok and YouTube. Ethan spent most nights watching videos of robotics projects, AI builds, and futuristic startup pitches. But beneath that fascination lived something deeper, a desire to fix something, to solve a problem that mattered. He just didn't know what that problem was. One night, while scrolling through the news, he stumbled upon a heartbreaking story: an ambulance delayed in traffic on the freeway, failing to reach a little girl in time. This wasn't the first incident like this. Across the U.S., emergency response times were becoming a national concern. Ethan stared at the headline, and a question sparked in his mind. Why can't cities predict emergencies before they happen? He knew it sounded impossible, but so did every breakthrough before it existed. So, fueled by curiosity, he opened his laptop, created a blank project folder, and typed the name that would later become iconic: Project ELISA, Emergency Level Intelligence System Algorithm. He didn't know it then, but Ethan had just taken the first step toward changing American night of ideas. Ethan's room transformed into a miniature STEM lab. Old laptops lay in pieces, wires coiled like neon vines, coding windows stacked on his monitor like layers of a puzzle only he understood. He began designing an AI system capable of analyzing real-time data, traffic flow, weather patterns, construction zones, population density, past emergency response logs, and predicting where an emergency might occur before it happened. It was wild, unbelievable, ridiculous, exactly the kind of idea America needed. But Ethan lacked one crucial thing: data. Real data, government-level data. And without that, ELISA was just a brilliant idea stuck inside a teenager's laptop. The hidden opportunity: every year, the U.S. held a National STEM Innovation Challenge, a competition where students proposed solutions to real-world problems. The winner didn't just get a trophy, they got access to mentorship, national networks, government resources, and even potential funding. Ethan had never planned to enter. He didn't think he was good enough, but this year's theme changed everything: using AI to reinvent American infrastructure. Ethan closed his eyes for a moment, and for the first time in his life, the shy teen from the back of the classroom whispered to himself, "Maybe I can do this." He registered the same night, building the impossible for 6 straight weeks. Ethan worked like someone possessed by purpose. He redesigned, deleted, rebuilt, tested, failed, restarted, and improved. His mother would knock on his door every night. "Ethan, you need sleep. Just 5 more minutes," he'd reply. 5 minutes became hours. Hours became days, while other contestants built robots that could dance or apps that helped track homework. Ethan was designing the blueprint of what could become the most advanced emergency response AI in American history. But hidden behind his progress was a growing fear. What if the judges laughed at him? What if he was wrong? What if he was just a kid trying to do the work of a billion-dollar tech company? Still, he continued, because deep down, he had already seen the future, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The national stage. The final presentation event was held in Washington, D.C., inside a massive convention hall filled with glowing giant screens and camera crews from major tech networks. Students from all 50 states had arrived, showcasing robots, drones, medical devices, and climate tech models. Ethan arrived wearing a simple navy hoodie and carrying a single USB drive. Next to him were polished teams in matching shirts, rehearsed speeches, and corporate-looking prototypes. Ethan felt invisible. Until he plugged in his USB and his project screen lit up. ELIS are predicting emergencies. Before they occur, people stopped. Whispers spread. Judges leaned forward. Ethan began speaking softly, his voice slightly shaky. "Every year, thousands of Americans suffer because emergency teams reach them too late. We react when we could predict." He walked them through his system: AI forecasts, heat maps, risk analysis, automated alerts to dispatch centers. Then came the moment that stunned the entire hall. Ethan ran a live simulation using publicly available data. On the screen, a city map glowed. Traffic analyzed, weather processed. Emergency history cross-checked. Within seconds, the AI predicted a higher risk zone. The room fell into a stunned silence. A judge whispered to another, "This is next level." A reporter lowered her camera and said, "This kid just changed everything." The viral moment videos of Ethan's presentation hit social media and exploded within hours. #STMKid, #AmericanGenius, #Alyssa_AI, #FutureOfUSA began trending. Millions watched clips of the shy teen predicting emergencies using an algorithm built from his bedroom. What shocked people most wasn't the tech, was Ethan's humility. When asked how he built it, he said softly, "I just wanted to help people get help faster." Creators reacted. Tech CEOs tweeted about him. Ambulance departments emailed him. A senator publicly called him the future of American STEM. Ethan wasn't famous, he was a phenomenon. The offer days later, Ethan received a call from the U.S. Department of Emergency Management. They wanted to pilot ELISA across multiple American cities. He sat in the conference room with senior officials, engineers, and data scientists, people with decades of experience. They all listened to him like he was the professor. After the demonstration, the director rose from her seat. "Ethan, we want to integrate your system into our national framework." Ethan swallowed hard. "I'm just a student. I don't even know if it will work on a national scale." The director smiled. "America is built by people who don't know if something will work until they try." The transformation within months. Pilot programs launched in Boston, Seattle, Chicago, and Dallas. Unexpectedly, emergency response times dropped. Ambulances reached faster. Fire departments positioned personnel ahead of predicted calls. This made smarter decisions. And it all started with a boy who wasn't sure of himself. One evening, Ethan visited a Boston fire station participating in the pilot. A firefighter shook his hand and said, "Kid, last week we reached a family before things got worse. Because your system alerted us early. You didn't save a project, you saved people." Ethan stood silent, overwhelmed. This was what he had built it for. The pressure with fame came pressure. Big tech companies wanted to buy his system. Investors wanted control. Politicians wanted his endorsement. Colleges competed to offer him full scholarships. Reporters hunted for stories. Critics questioned him. Hackers tried to breach his prototype. Ethan struggled. Fame wasn't easy, but he stayed focused because he remembered the reason he started. The girl in the news story. The ambulance that didn't arrive in time. He wasn't doing this for money or fame. He was doing it for America. The global turning point. Months later, a massive storm struck the East Coast. Cities flooded. Power lines fell. Roads blocked. But something historic happened. ELISA predicted high-risk collapse zones hours before the storm. Emergency teams positioned themselves early. People were evacuated on time. Lives were saved. News anchors declared, "America's emergency response has entered a new era." And at the center of it was Ethan Cole. The final message. At age 17, Ethan was invited to speak at the White House Innovation Forum. He stepped onto the stage, not with confidence but with sincerity. His final message became legendary. "You don't need to be a genius to change the world. You just need to care enough to solve one problem. STEM isn't about technology. It's about humanity. And every young person in America can build something that saves lives." The audience rose in a standing ovation. Millions watched the speech online. The quote printed on shirts, posters, classrooms. America had found its new hero. Epilogue. The legacy begins. Ethan didn't become a billionaire. He didn't sell his system. Instead, he licensed it cheaply to emergency departments across America, prioritizing lives over profit. Within 2 years, ELISA became a national standard. By 2030, it expanded globally. But no matter how big the world made him, Ethan remained the same quiet, humble kid from the back of the classroom. A kid whose idea became a movement, a kid who rewrote the future of American STEM, a kid who proved that sometimes the greatest revolutions begin in a teenager's bedroom.